Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me, so let's get into it. Kafka. The dim ambient light of the ship's quarters cast long shadows across the room. You sat on the edge of the bed, your fingers fumbling with the buttons of your shirt, and Kafka's voice came from behind you, soft and curious. Why the hesitation, darling? It doesn't sound like you. You froze mid-motion, your breath catching in your throat. You had hoped you wouldn't notice, but this was Kafka you were talking about. And Kafka noticed everything. It's nothing really, you muttered, avoiding her gaze as you took the fabric tighter around yourself. She hummed, her tone disbelieving but unhurried. A moment later, the bed dipped as she sat beside you. Her presence was magnetic, her lavender eyes piercing as they locked onto yours. You're not very good at lying, you know that? You exhaled, grabbing the hem of your shirt. It's just my scars. You admitted, barely above a whisper. And Kafka's expression softened, the teasing glint in her eyes replaced by something far gentler. Show me. You hesitated, shame pooling in your chest. But when her hand came to rest over yours, warm and steady, you found yourself nodding. And slowly, you unbuttoned the rest of your shirt, revealing the marks that crisscrossed your skin. Her gaze lingered, but not with disgust or pity, only quiet contemplation. And she reached out, her gloved fingers brushing gently over the ridges. These are proof of what you've endured, proof that you're still here, despite everything. You swallowed hard, her words hitting you like a wave. I don't see them that way. I feel like I'm ruined or broken. She tilted her head, a sad little smile on her lips. Then let me help you, because to me, they're quite beautiful. You are beautiful, and I'll always see you that way. Tears pricked at your eyes, but Kafka kept your face before they could fall, and before you could look away. Don't hide from me. Not this. Not ever. And in that moment, under her unwavering gaze, he filled the tiniest crack in your insecurities, a seed of acceptance beginning to take root. Acheron, you sat by the window, the faint glow of the city lights casting your shadow onto the carpet. Your jacket hung loosely off your shoulders, and your hands trembled as you debated whether to take it off completely. Acheron's voice, low and smooth, broke through the quiet. You've been sitting like that for 10 minutes. What's going on? You turned to look at her. She was lounging on the bed, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders, her piercing eyes fixed on you. The intensity of her gaze made your throat tighten. It's nothing, you muttered, turning your attention back to the window. Acheron was having none of it. She stood and crossed the room in a few strides, her presence a mixture of authority and warmth. She crouched in front of you, resting your hands lightly on your knees. Don't lie to me. What's wrong? You hesitated, chewing on your lip. Slowly, you tugged your jacket off your shoulders, revealing the scars that lined your arms. You couldn't bring yourself to look at her. These, he whispered. I hate them. Acheron's fingers brushed over the marks with a tenderness that surprised you. Her touch was deliberate, reverent. You're ashamed of these? She asked, her voice calm but laced with disbelief. And you nodded. They're ugly, a constant reminder of everything you couldn't stop. Her grip on your arm tightened, just enough to draw your attention to her. Listen to me. These scars don't define you. They're proof of your strength, of what you've endured and survived. Do you understand? Her words struck something deep within you, and tears blurred your vision. It's hard to see it that way. You admitted, and Acheron straightened, cupping your face in her hands. Then let me remind you. Every day, if I have to, she whispered, placing a soft kiss on a couple of your scars. Her unwavering gaze did not falter then, and for the first time, you felt the weight of your insecurities begin to lift, even if just a little, and you knew that you would have her by your side, and that she would do her best to make you feel better. Feixiao. You didn't hear her come in at first. Her steps light as always. It wasn't until her soft voice cut through the stillness that you'd realized you were no longer alone. You've been quiet today. What's in your mind? She asked, her tone calm but tinged with concern. And you tensed, your hands reflexively gripping your shirt tighter. It's nothing really, you mumbled, avoiding her gaze. Feixiao did not press immediately. Instead, she walked over, her presence steady and grounding. Nothing doesn't usually make you this tense, she said, a touch of playfulness in her voice. And when you didn't answer, she gently reached for the hem of your shirt. May I? She asked, her fingers brushing against yours, and you hesitated, but eventually you nodded, your throat tight. Slowly, she pulled the fabric up, revealing the scars that marked your torso, faint lines that told stories you wished could be forgotten. Her eyes softened as she knelt in front of you, studying the marks with care. These are why you've been distant, right? You're thinking about them. You nodded, your voice barely above a whisper. They're ugly. I don't like looking at them. Feixiao reached out, tracing one of the scars with a feather-light touch. Ugly? These scars, they're a testament to your strength. They show what you fought and what you've survived. I don't feel strong. You admitted, your voice breaking, and she leaned closer, her forehead resting against yours gently. Well, that's why I'm here to remind you of how incredible you are, scars and all. And to be quite honest, they're kinda hot, she said, and you chuckled, tears in your eyes as her sincerity made you tear up. And Feixiao simply pulled you into a warm embrace. You don't need to hide from me. I'll see all of you, and I'll love you all the more for it. And you knew that she meant every single word that she said.